Hello! Welcome back to this Ask the Vet Facebook Live hosted by Spay Neuter Network. I am your vet, Dr. Bowden. Make sure to like Spay Neuter Network's Facebook page and ask me all the animal medical related questions that you have in the comments below. This month, we want to touch base on a hot topic: behavioral issues in pets. This could be done over several videos, and even then, we probably wouldn't cover all of the topics that could be covered. Many unwanted behaviors for dogs and cats are actually completely natural for them. So this includes barking, running, chewing, scratching for cats. All these things can drive us crazy, but they're completely normal for our animals. So it can be challenging to quell these behaviors when animals oftentimes need to express them. And so, as I go through some behavioral information, be thinking about any questions you'd be interested in having answered, and pop them in the chat below, and I'll get to them as I have time. So, what can we do for our animals with behavioral issues? First, I recommend making sure your dog or cat is getting enough activity and play during the day. I know that can be hard if you're gone to work or school most of the day, but try to engage with them at least, for a little bit every day. With cats, this can be done with catnip toys or things that they can, bat around. But I recommend monitoring your cat during play to make sure they don't ingest any of their toys, strings. Feathers can become foreign bodies, so we don't want them to get stuck in their intestines. For dogs, especially really high energy dogs, go for a long walk or run if you're a runner. I am not, so a long walk is great. Play fetch or find a way to help them spend their energy. I've seen so many dogs who they need a job and they don't get out enough energy during the day. So that can include Australian Shepherds, German Shepherds, Huskies, Belgian Malinois. There's so many breeds that just they end up needing a job. They end up spending all day with nothing to do, and then that pent up energy becomes anxiety and destruction. And so they have so much energy and no good way to use it. So it's really great to just try to think of things that can spend their energy. And so I am gonna pop over to the questions and see if we have any. Oh, hi Helen, good evening to you too. Okay, so Helen is asking about cat acne, if it's a serious concern and could it be fatal. I don't think cat acne, I've never seen it be fatal, but it is a concern. It's something that you want to address in your pet. And so I recommend getting stainless steel bowls and cleaning them often, just to prevent, they always develop it on their chin. So to prevent any bacterial buildup in their food bowls. And then keeping it clean, like I said. And then if they do develop a really bad spot, getting with your vet and seeing if they can get antibacterials and possibly some anti-inflammatory medications. And so we also got a question ahead of time that I want to answer. What is the best way to calm a pet during a storm if you don't have any calming medications? So this is a really great question to talk about with your veterinarian about your specific pet's needs. One thing that I really like is a thunder jacket for animals. For dogs, I don't think they make one for cats, maybe they do, but you can pick that up at like PetSmart, or I even looked on Facebook Marketplace earlier today and saw there were several. So if you're not able to spend, for a brand new one, you could try one that's been used before. And basically what that thunder shirt does is it compresses their body and makes them feel more secure and safe. It doesn't work on every single dog, and you want to put it on before the storm starts. So a lot of these recommendations for storm anxiety is before it starts, because once it starts, they're already kind of ramped up and hyped up. And so even with medication, you want to give that if you know the storm is coming. If your pet is just experiencing mild anxiety, you can reassure them, calm them, and also do some counter conditioning. So say your dog gets closer to you and maybe starts whining if she notices a storm is coming. You can reassure her, and then once she's feeling, not so scared, give her a treat. That's counter conditioning, showing her that the storm is nothing to be worried about. For dogs that need their own space, you could cover a kennel with a dark blanket or just provide a space for them to go into and be by themselves if they need to be. If your dog's anxiety is so severe, though, I really do recommend medication, just because it helps them to not get so wound up. Because time after time, if they keep getting wound up, they're going to continue to get worse and worse with that behavior with every storm. So great question. Thank you for sending that in. Okay, so also good quality training, just going back to behavior and animals expressing their behavior, really good quality training can help so many of these high energy pets. Dogs have a purpose and a job. So there are different types of training available, and depending on your budget and availability, there are group classes where you and your dog go together and you learn in a group. There's private sessions where you're one-on-one with a trainer and your dog, just to help you address their specific concerns. There's also board and trains where your dog goes away and stays with a trainer for a while. If you end up doing that, make sure you're okay with their training methods, because you won't be there to observe. And so personally, I really like positive reinforcement. Some trainers do use negative reinforcement. So if you're not comfortable with that, make sure you know that in advance. And then if you also decide to pursue board and train, make sure you get a session with the trainer at the end, working with your dog to learn how to speak to your dog and to have them obey you, because it really wouldn't be helpful if the dog only obeyed the trainer and not you once they got home. So I'm going to come over here and check our questions again. Okay, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. She says, what dry and wet foods or kind of ingredients in their foods would you recommend for cats? So I feed my own cat Purina Pro Plan. She's a senior kitty, so I like that one, the senior diet for her. And I've always fed her dry and wet food, given her an option to eat both of those, because some cats do have a preference with texture and smells, and they only like certain flavors. We know how cats can be. And so really, I think if you can get a higher protein one, that's usually better for cats. And then what else did you say? What kinds of ingredients? I don't have specific ingredients, but I think if they're approved by the nutritional board, the AFCO standard, then they'll have enough taurine in them, which that's the main thing that we need our cats to get, because they don't make that amino acid in their body. So that might be really technical, but if you get a food from the pet store that's AFCO approved, it's going to have that in it. And so one time, this is kind of random, but one time I was getting my hair done and my hairdresser asked me, can I make my cat a vegan? And I was like, no, please don't make him a vegan. Cats need meat, and they do need some grains as well. But yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that, Elizabeth. Okay, and then Helen asks, how can one tell if a female dog is pregnant without going to the vet? And how does the vet know if the female is pregnant? So it is really difficult, actually, to tell if a dog's pregnant if you don't take x-rays or do an ultrasound. Personally, I really like doing x-rays, but the puppies' skeletons and kittens' skeletons don't show up until the last week or two of their gestation. And their gestation is so short. Their pregnancy is 60 days. That's 2 months, that's way faster than when we go through pregnancy. And so it is hard to tell sometimes. Towards the end of pregnancy, you'll start seeing mammary development, their belly become a little bigger. But even then, there's been dogs that I've seen before that I'm like, I'm not sure if they're pregnant, and we never took an x-ray or whatever, and they have puppies the next day. And so it is really hard to tell, but the vet is able to tell more so if they're able to take x-rays and see those puppies in there. And then they can count how many there are, see if their head is too big. A lot of breeders will end up doing that just because, like bulldogs, their heads tend to get stuck. They end up needing C-sections a lot. And so I'm gonna pop back over, just talk a little bit more about behavior, and I'll come back to these questions. These are all really great questions, so thank you. So back to behavior. For many dogs, sturdy crates can help with so many issues. I love my dog's crate. We use it for so many things. I mean, it is to put the dogs in. That's what we use it for. But my dogs were constantly showing issues outside of the crate, and they're only crated when we're gone, except our one. So one of my dogs, she's very determined to poop on the floor at night. If we leave her out, she will poop on the floor no matter what. And so we've had her for like 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and she always poops on the floor. So she never goes to the bathroom in the house otherwise. She's potty trained completely. So I don't know what strikes her in the middle of the night that she gets like a rumbly in her tumbly and needs to let it out. So we started crating her, and she doesn't poop in the crate. She actually seems really comfortable in there. She likes to go get in her bed at night. That's her place. So even a few years after we'd been doing that, we were like, surely she will not poop on the floor tonight. And, she hasn't done it in years. Like, how could she have to go poop in the middle of the night? And we let her out of the crate, and then she pooped on the floor. So she really likes being in her crate. It's a safe space for her, and it eliminated the house soiling behavior that we were seeing. Our other dog can be really destructive when we're out of the home, and so he benefits so much from a crate while we're away. So one time he ate like fresh coffee grounds, unused coffee grounds, and he had to go to the emergency clinic. And even being a vet, that's really scary, and really expensive. So since he's been crated while we're away, it's helped his separation anxiety actually, because that's his place. When we're gone, he's in his crate. And he even goes there when we're home too, just to lay in there. And so that had us able to not have poop on the floor, not have things destroyed anymore. And it's been really great to avoid another emergency room visit or avoid having to clean the floor every morning. And our dogs are really comfortable with it. So I hear so much people are like, I don't want to crate him or her, but I think it's really helpful for some animals who just need that safety and security. So I'm going to pop back over here to our questions. Okay, Helen asks, how do I stop my cat from shedding? So regular brushing is honestly the best way. If you can brush your cat every day, it's going to help get a lot of that hair that's looser out, and hopefully prevent shedding. You can't prevent it altogether. There are some foods that prevent like dander spreading, and I couldn't tell you the name of it right now, but if you have allergies, that can really help to have your cat eating that. And then Helen also asks, can an older dog or middle-aged dog be dog trained and also learn new tricks? Oh, you have a senior crowd, 10-year-old, 6-year-old, and an 11-year-old. Yes, they can be trained. They can learn new tricks. I don't believe that an old dog can't learn new tricks. They might just need more motivation, but a lot of times they tend to be calmer than the crazy puppy that's so eager. And so if you know what your dog's like, if they're really food motivated, then yes, you can absolutely train them. If they're not food motivated, but maybe really like a toy or just your love, that can help with training too. But I would recommend pairing with a trainer. Or, I mean, there's online courses as well, but pairing with somebody would help you to see what your dogs need. So, and then Elizabeth, who asked about the cat food earlier, what kind of cat litter would I recommend? So just like cat foods, cats are so particular. They like specific things. And so some cats really like dry food, some really like wet food, some like the feeling of the sandy cat litter, and some like the just normal like pebbles. I don't know. I don't think that's what they're called, but they really like the feel of that. Others really like the feel of pine. There's like pine litter. It just feels more natural. So again, it's just based on your cat's preferences. I just use Tidy Cats because that's always what I've used. And I like the one that doesn't weigh so much. And yeah, and just cleaning every day keeps it really clean. So thanks y'all for your questions. I think I've gotten them all. Let me pop back over to my notes. Okay, so to conclude the behavior issues, please ask any more questions if you guys have them. But just with behavior problems, some dogs and cats may need further help than these recommendations. So I urge you to consult your veterinarian if your animal's behavior issues are causing a strain on your relationship. There's veterinary behaviorists that can help address certain issues, and many general practicing veterinarians are comfortable with prescribing medications for your pet's specific needs. So please have this conversation with them. So many pets are rehomed every year. I think the last count was 6.3 million dogs and cats are surrendered, and a lot of those are surrendered because of behavior issues. And there is help out there for that. And so I urge you, if you're having problems with your animals, please, please, please talk to your veterinarian. So just a few more things. Spay Neuter Network events are coming up. We got DFW Pets Our Family, which has free vaccines, free food, and several other things. So check it out. It's March 18th, which seems like a really long ways away, but I guess it's not. It's weird that it's already March. I realize this is the March Facebook Live. But yes, so DFW Pets Our Family, it's 9 to 1 at the Dallas tax office. You can pre-register for this event so they have enough supplies for everybody. So check it out. Again, that's March 18th, and it's on Spay Neuter Network's events page. And then also coming up, this is in April, but it sounds really fun, the Lone Star Bark. It'll be held in Lone Star Park in Grand Prairie. This fun event will have pet vendors, doggy races, contests, and more. I heard there's even going to be dollar hot dogs, so to celebrate the dogs. So yeah, if you want to find out more about these events, check out Spay Neuter Network's Facebook page. And then, we have a couple more questions. I'll get to these. And then if anybody else has any more, just pop them in the chat. So Veronica says, dog odor, even after days of a bath, maybe once a month. Yeah, there are deodorant shampoos that help with dog odor. I would say if you are concerned about their odor, maybe doing every other week even could help. And then leaving the shampoo on them for a little while, maybe a few minutes, just to really help get that stinky dog scent off of them. I found for a while I was using like the same towel for my dogs, and the towel was stinky and it was making my dogs smell like themselves again, but not in a good way. So if it's your towel, make sure you have a good clean towel. But yeah, I would say just leaving the shampoo on them longer can help the scent of the shampoo penetrate their hair more. And then Helen asked, how does my little girl get her cat to wear clothes? I don't know. I have a sassy cat. She would never wear clothes. I've like tried to put things on her head because it's so cute. I think just certain cats have certain personalities and some don't want it. And then Helen also asked, does DAS or Spay Neuter Network or anywhere do free dog training or low cost? I know that DAS doesn't, and Spay Neuter Network I'm pretty sure does not as well. I actually don't know of any places that do free or low cost dog training. I know there's programs like Austin Pets Alive does like behavioral programs, and they go through and have volunteers train pets, but that's for the shelter animals. So that would definitely be something to look more into and seeing what options are out there. And that's a really great idea, Helen. Yeah. So I don't think there are any more questions. Y'all have been great tonight. Thanks for my questions from Elizabeth, Veronica, and Helen. I appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks for tuning in. Our next one will be on April 5th, so be ready for that. It's the first Wednesday of every month at 6:30 right here. So thanks for tuning in tonight, and I hope y'all have a great night. Thanks.